Hey guys, all right. So I'll tell you what. I was thinking, today we were talking. There was actually really cool. Some guy, like some finance guy, he came to school today, and we were doing like, oh, oh man, what's it called? Career. Yeah. Hey guys, how you going? All right. So, oh, I should do it over here. It doesn't matter. Hey guys, all right, so here, check this out. We were in school today and they brought in some career guys. We were doing like a career day, and there was this finance guy, and it was cool stuff because he was like coming in, talking about his stuff, and it was just a couple of guys that went there. You had to like register, and who cares, right? But I'll tell you what, we were talking about, investing, and specifically he works at a nonprofit. He started a nonprofit, and they try to help educate people who just don't really know a whole lot about personal finance and investing, about how to budget, how to build wealth, real savings, and retirements through education. And then he doesn't specifically do investments, but he's got like FINRA guys, SEC registered, and they're just financial advisors to help people out when they get to the point of their investing career, where it's like, okay, I've got an emergency fund, I've got some cash sitting in, hopefully if you guys have into money market funds, if you're doing an emergency fund or whatever, and then they start to save and they're ready to invest. It was cool stuff, and it got me thinking, a lot. We had a great time. It was really fun stuff, but it was really interesting because he was talking a lot about the clients he works with, and not all of them really pay. Like, it's a nonprofit, they just do it to help out the community, which is freaking awesome. Really, really cool stuff. And he was kind of talking about like 20 odds, 30 odds, older-ish, still like relatively young guys, pretty young guys, and bringing in, six figures, give or take. He's got lower clients, higher clients, but the problem was, like, they just didn't have a clue on personal finance and investing, and it was so weird because, like, they're killing it in the marketplace, and the marketplace says that they're worth it, but the problem is that they just don't have the education to go out and invest, and all the problems with the educational barrier to entry into finance, like the single largest problem, that I've put the 9 to Noon out with, wrote that book to really kind of abolish that. But it got me thinking about this one time when I was in, we're skiing in Colorado. I love skiing, freaking my favorite. And it was in the morning. I was writing the book at the time, so I went downstairs. I wake up at 4, workout, shower, go into the lobby to start writing. I think I was writing about college savings at the time, and like investing and 529s, Coverdell's, all that fun stuff. And excuse me, there's this lady, and I didn't know what was going on, man. So I'm just sitting in the lounge, and there's like a computer room on the side, and she goes in the computer room, she turns it on, she asks, hey, can you help with the printer? She was trying to turn the stuff on. It just, I don't know, man. A little older, I'd say 70s maybe. And I sat down, helped her out, we got her stuff up, and started talking to her. It turned out she was doing a comparative analysis of Social Security and Medicare payments for the retired, and by comparison, I mean, she was basically looking at which government subsidy program pays the most, and then why am I not getting paid, why was she not getting paid whatever the maximum whatever could be for her. And it was really struck my interest. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I'm like, this is some cool stuff. And so I started talking to her for hours and hours, and turns out she was a babysitter, and she was there for a client, and it was pretty early in the morning, and she was just doing work because she had some tough stuff with her family. Apparently, she had a brother, and her brother was not very, very responsible with his cashola. She worked as a real estate agent for, I think, about four decades. So she was bringing in good money, and her brother just wasn't really doing as well. He was marrying early, cool stuff, but he wasn't bringing in the cash flow, or maybe he was, but like the way she framed it, it was like he was, I don't know, maybe not budgeting, wasteful with it. It was a little bit biased, I guess. But, you know, essentially she was like having to pay for a good chunk of her brother's lifestyle. And then I think a couple years after that, maybe 2 decades, if I'm remembering, she got a divorce, right? So she had to take care of all that stuff. She lost a bunch of assets, or it was really just a house, which is interesting because a lot of people, you know, they think, oh, I've got a house, that's an investment. And at a certain level, you know, sure, you know, if you're paying off your mortgage or whatever, but, you know, you're really gonna see those controllable and consistent income gains, especially with less effort, with, you know, paper assets and investing, so that, you know, maybe you're not gonna have to worry so much about who's a tenant or whatever. You know, it's just her house. Ooh. Oh my god. So after a couple hours, like, she's talking and apparently, like, she just went flat broke, and it sucked, right? Like, she was in her 70s, she still had to work, she was living on Social Security, and she was like walking me through her monthly budget of, well, honestly, I don't know if I'd call it a budget. It was more like, this is how much I get paid, and then it just disappears. Like, I don't know exactly how much she was planning with it. It was really interesting because it's like, whoa, yeah, budget for stuff, but, you know, she didn't have a whole lot to work with, right? So after, you know, probably 4 or 5 hours talking to this lady and learning about what she does and how she works, it was interesting. You know, she was in a tough position because she had like side jobs that weren't really working out, and just not a whole lot of value, unfortunately, able to come, and so it sucked. But so I, you know, keep talking to her, and I say, hey, you know, it sounds like you've been working for a very long time. What assets have you invested in, right? I ask her that. And this woman, man, she, you know, flat broke, in her 70s, I think, she's definitely past retirement age. And she looks me right in the eye and she says, assets? I said, what? She said, I never really got into assets. And that's when it really kicked in, man. And it was like, dang, like, this is a problem. Because, like, this lady's retirement and her future was, like, destroyed. Like, she worked for 40 years as a real estate agent, but she didn't have any savings. She didn't have any investments. And I don't know how real estate works. It's a little bit, you know, iffy, but she didn't have real estate. I mean, she was just working, selling stuff, and spending it, giving it to the brother, the divorce, whatever it was. No asset protection, no allocation. And she came into retirement with, like, no investments and no compound growth, and all of a sudden she's, like, out of time to really grow real savings and retirements because there's just no time left. It's like, you know, she's running near the end, and it's like, dang, right? It sucks. And it was like a big kick for me. It was like, I don't want the individuals growing up around me or the people I'm around, like, especially at this age when it's the perfect time to invest, when they have the maximum possible amount of time to let their money grow. You know, I don't want to see that, where they go to retirement and all of a sudden it's like, no, what's asset? I don't have any like anything. I mean, because you just got to understand, the absolute key to building wealth is assets, and having your investments so that your cash can work for you, you know, no matter how much you can put away. I mean, there's like no doubt in my mind that it's some part in her monthly budget, you know, 10%, just put away 10%. You know, richest man in Babylon, they say put away 10% of your income and invest it in yourself with assets. And, like, that's a bare minimum, man. Bare minimum. Because the more you can put away, the better off you're going to be. The further and further and further away you're going to be from this lady's situation where, you know, all of a sudden she's screwed. She's got left in the dark by society, by the government, by her work. And she's, spent hours and hours telling me how, the government should pay for her life, and it's their, they need to pay for her. It's all the government's fault. And it sucks that she's in that position because she just never had investments. And without investments, her wealth just dwindled away. And she's forced, at her age to rely almost exclusively on government subsidies. And that freaking sucks, man. It's just terrible. So please, 9 to noon, Secret Workday of Uber Wealthy Americans on Amazon. Honestly, I'll probably set up a squeeze or something for it, special for you guys. But I think Amazon's actually pretty cool. They're running a pretty nice discount on it right now. If you want to build real savings and retirements, like that book will take you from 0 to 100 in personal finance and investing without a doubt. It is, it took a lot of work, years and years, and of principles and trading, and then 7 months of writing. Freaking. But like, that's the kind of thing where all of a sudden you've abolished that educational barrier to entry into finance, and all of a sudden you can teach people in one single book exactly how to set up their financial future. And that really resonated with that man at school, and then that lady. I just, wish I had a book to give her, but it's a little late, and it just sucks because you really got to get going while you can, or be out of the water like this woman at the end of her working life. So, food for thought, 9 to noon, Amazon.com. I hope you guys crush it today and have a good one. Thanks.